Good evening and welcome to the Township of North Dumfries Committee of the Whole. This meeting on Monday, February 8th at 6 p.m. Due to COVID-19 and recommendations by Waterloo Region Public Health to exercise social distancing and public gathering thresholds, Township Council meetings are currently being held electronically. Members of the public may watch or participate in this open meeting electronically using any of the following methods. First, watch live stream by accessing the meeting at calendar.northdumfries.ca/council. Under the video column, click on the link for the meeting date that you wish to watch. You do not need a YouTube account to watch the live stream. You cannot directly participate in the meeting via the live stream, as this is for viewing only. A second option is members of the public interested in attending as an observer or wish to speak to any item must submit the request in writing to the Clerk's Division at clerk@northdumfries.ca before 6 p.m. on the Sunday prior to the meeting. A link and telephone number will be provided to those who register before the registration deadline. And the third option, if you would like to comment on a particular item, but are not available to attend the meeting virtually, members of the public are invited to submit written comments to the clerk's office at clerk@northdumfries.ca, which will be provided to the mayor and council prior to the meeting and will form part of the public record. So I'd like to now call this meeting to order, and can I have approval of the agenda, please?
So moved by Councillor Gillespie and seconded by Councillor Osner that Council adopt the February 8th, 2021 Committee of the Whole agenda as presented. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCrory?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. Finance function area, motion to adjourn from council to sit as committee of the whole.
So moved by Councillor Osner and seconded by Councillor Rolleman that Council adjourn to sit as Committee of the Whole. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCrory?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. And now we'll go to community services functions. I'd like to ask any members of council would like to speak to any of the reports in the community services function. And if so, which item would be removed? And there's only the one report, which is the terms of reference, the Air Bicentennial Anniversary Programming Committee. I have Councillor McCrory, Councillor Osner, Councillor Rowland, all of us, including myself. So all of council plus myself. So we will be pulling that report. And I believe Councillor McCrory, you were first. You're up.
I'm just wondering about the, in the terms of reference, the requirement that the chair of the committee be a councillor. I don't really think that's necessary. I think it probably is discouraging members of the public from participating. And this committee only makes recommendations and suggestions to council. Council has the ultimate control because they vote on everything that's put forward. So I don't think that it's really necessary to add some extra level of influence or control at the committee level. And I think there's plenty of people in the township that have the skills and the interest to be the chair of this committee.
CEO McNeely.
Madam Mayor, through to Councillor McCrory. Staff were just following the past practice of Township Council. In all other advisory committees that have been struck, Council has actually required that the chair be from a member of Council. So we're just following that pattern. But if it's the wish of Council as part of the redraft, then certainly we would just reframe it such that it would be worded similar to the committee from its membership would select its chair and vice chair.
I believe it's done this way everywhere else as well. It's done at the region, it's done at GRCA, everywhere else, that the committee is always chaired by a member of the board or council. Councillor McCrory. You're on mute. You're on mute.
We did have a discussion about this at council when we set up the initial public advisory committee committees, and yes, they all did say that a councillor had to be chair. However, I did do a little bit of work on that, and I went and I looked at the advisory committees for the other townships, in the region, Woolwich, Wellesley, and Wilmot, and none of them required that the counselor be the chair of the advisory committee. In fact, they seem to be concerned about the council not having too much influence over the committee because they've actually restricted the number of counselors that could be a member of the committee. So the maximum was 2 counselors could be sitting on the committee, and that depended on the overall size of the committee. But that this pattern that we have of saying that the chair must be a member of council has not been followed by the other 3 townships in the region.
We also have a maximum number of 2 because otherwise we have quorum. And therefore anything decided at a committee would be constituted as passed by council, or could be constituted. Any other comments on the issues? Councillor Osner.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor McCreary on this. I think that when it comes to community events, I think that there are certain things that we can back off on control. I don't want to give a lot of the committees the feeling that we're oversight every step that they make. So I think that we in the past have had a lot of community members that can are quite capable of handling something like this. That I think this is one of the situations where we can back off and allow the people of the community to create the committee and do the event without the direct overseer. I mean, they have to come to us anyway. So I agree that should be the way we proceed with this.
CEO McNeely, were we not considering Dave Piper for chair of the aggregate committee at one point because Councillor Taylor was moving down? Or stepping off council?
Madam Mayor, I don't recall that discussion. The past term of council, the present term of council to date, it's been the practice of council to want to be the member of council to be the chair. But I apologize, I can't recall back 3+ years ago as to that other discussion. But as I said, Councillor Taylor, through the term of his office, was the chair of the Aggregate Advisory Committee.
Councillor Williman, you had your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I tend to agree with Councillor Osner and Councillor McCreary. I think just for this one committee, I think it's not a problem that the chair is not a member of council. I think the other committees, that's a different discussion. But I think for this committee, I'd like to see some community members champion this event, because who knows, council will have changed in the next term of council, and maybe the councillor that's the chair is no longer even on council. So I would rather see a member of the community be the chair and have a councillor on there as an advisor in an advisory capacity or as a voting member or whatever, however the committee wants to choose their chairman. But the other concern I had was the stipulation that there be a representative from each of the 4 wards on this committee. This is really bicentennial for the village of Ayr. So I'm not sure if people out way out there on Pam Gillespie's side of town who don't even know where Ayr is to come and be on a committee, they might find it a big inconvenience. So I'm just wondering, do we want to just have residents from Ayr? And if people from Ward 3 and 4 want to join in and volunteer, they're more than welcome. But I'm worried about that stipulation. If we don't get anybody from those areas that want to help out, is this going to be a problem?
I also had questions with CEO McNeely in regards to this issue, same issue, in that I feel the same way. If we say residents, just residents, and don't stipulate Ayr, then I'm fine with that. But to stipulate one from each ward, I have a little bit of a problem with. CEO McNeely.
I'd like to just clarify, it doesn't stipulate that the membership has to be from each of the wards. It says preference would be given to representatives from the wards. So, obviously if there's no one that applies from wards 3 or 4, then, the committee would still be struck by whatever members in the community do apply. There's a big difference between preference toward versus a stipulation that it has to be. The other aspect is the objective was to try and celebrate the 200th anniversary through the year at multiple locations through the year, and include the entire municipality. And so the objective was multifold. One was obviously the broader the spectrum of participants, the ability might be then to promote events across all 4 wards. But more importantly was to have the celebration across the township, because it is now the township of North Dumfries. Ayr as an incorporated village no longer exists. That disappeared in 1973 with regional government, and Ayr is a settlement within the township of North Dumfries. And so it was a means of trying to broaden its profile and bring all corners of the municipality together.
Councillor Gillespie.
Well, I guess it's going to depend on the wording that goes out with this, because I know the people in Ayr are very big on the 200th anniversary of Ayr. Now, it's not the 200th anniversary of the whole township. That's the big problem I have. So I guess it's the wording that you use for it. I'm sure that people in Ward 4, way over here, might like to go to something in Ayr, but I'm not sure whether they would be super involved. I don't really know. It really depends on the wording that gets used on this whole thing, I think.
I prefer that the wording just state that of all individuals in North Dumfries Township, and allow that to flow the way it does,
Yes.
not say preference to. So I hear 2 things. Am I hearing correctly that number 1, in this situation, the chair may be, we won't define it as, we will just leave chair and committee. We will not define it at all. Because maybe the committee wants the counselor, depending on who the counselor is. So we do not define that it's a counselor as chair. And the other thing is we do not define who will sit on the committee, except that they have to be a resident of North Dumfries. Keeps it simple. So if we're in agreement with that, let's see what the motion states and see if you have to change it. Actually, you don't have to change the motion. Just note that it will be changed in the content. So if you, any other questions on this motion? Seeing none, would you please read the motion?
Certainly. So moved by Councillor Rolleman and seconded, sorry, I guess since it was pulled. So moved by Councillor Gillespie and seconded by Councillor Osner that CAO report number 03-2021 be received, and that the terms of reference dated February 8th, 2021 be received for the purposes of information, and that the terms of reference for the proposed Ayr Bicentennial Anniversary Programming Committee be returned for further discussion at the March 8th, 2021 Council Committee of the Whole meeting. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Oster?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. So we have under governance and protective services functions, we have 3 reports. Any member of council wish to discuss any of those reports? Have them pulled? Seeing no changes then, can I have the motions, please? You do not have to read it in its entirety.
Moved by Councillor Osner and seconded by Councillor Gillespie that the Committee of the Whole recommend the following items be approved as presented as outlined in the staff reports listed in the Governance and Protective Services function area. So at 7.1, report number CLK 03-2021, proposed amendment to the council meeting schedule as presented. 7.2, report number CAO-02-2021, consideration of a revised terms of reference for downtown Ayr Streetscapes and Public Lands Advisory Committee as presented. And 7.3, report number bylaw-01-2021, consideration of updates to service level policy and intakes standards as presented. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn committee of the whole.
So moved by Councillor Ossner and seconded by Councillor Gillespie that committee of the whole is hereby adjourned and the council meeting be called back to order. Mayor Foxton, vote on that. Mayor Foxton,
Oh, I didn't hear you. You broke up. Yes.
sorry. Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you.
Mm.
And next we have turn the page.
Mm.
We have the first and second reading of the bylaw.
Well, we do have a motion to adopt the committee of the whole recommendation for this evening.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Go ahead.
Moved by Councillor Ossner and seconded by Councillor McCreary that council adopt the recommendation as adopted and presented by committee of the whole dated February 8th, 2021. Report number CLK-03-2021 proposed amendments to the 2021 council meeting schedule as presented. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. And now we have the first and second reading of the bylaw.
So moved by Councillor Ossner and seconded by Councillor McCreary that the following bylaws be taken as read a first and second time. So bylaw number 3223-21 being a bylaw to appoint a chief building official, plumbing inspector, and property standards officer, Shannon Black, for the Township of North Dumfries. Bylaw number 3224-21 being a bylaw to appoint a municipal law enforcement officer, bylaw enforcement officer, and property standards officer, Shannon Black, for the Township of North Dumfries. And bylaw 3225-21 being a bylaw to appoint a building inspector and plumbing inspector, Gerald Moore, RSM Building Consultants, for the Township of North Dumfries. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. Third reading of the bylaws, please.
Moved by Councillor Ossner and seconded by Councillor McCreary that the following bylaws be taken as read a third time and finally passed. Bylaw number 3223-21 being a bylaw to appoint a chief building official, plumbing inspector, and property standards officer, Shannon Black, for the Township of North Dumfries. Bylaw number 3224-21 being a bylaw to appoint a municipal law enforcement officer, bylaw enforcement officer, and property standards officer, Shannon Black, for the Township of North Dumfries. And bylaw number 3225-21 being a bylaw to appoint a building inspector and plumbing inspector, Gerald Moore, RSM Building Consultants, for the Township of North Dumfries. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
and Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
That carries.
And now the confirmatory bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Rowland and seconded by Councillor Ossner that bylaw number 3226-21 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Committee of the Whole on February 8th, 2021 be read a first, second, and third time and be finally passed, signed, and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Mayor Foxton, your vote on that?
Yes. Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. And carry on with the adjournment.
So moved by Councillor Gillespie and seconded by Councillor Rowland that whereas business before this Committee of the Whole meeting has been completed at 6:19 p.m. And be it resolved that this meeting adjourns and meets again on February 22nd, 2021 at 7 p.m. for regular council. Mayor Foxton, vote on that?
Yes. Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries and we are adjourned.
Thank you. No, Andrew, I'm